Blessed Are the Peacemakers is a main story mission of Red Dead Redemption 2, and we are playing through every mission in order as part of our RDR2 mission series. So let's start the mission. After speaking with Micah at camp, Arthur listens as Micah begins with Blessed are the Peacemakers,
Blessed are the peacemakers, for they
a phrase that, coming from him, sounds anything but peaceful.
wherever it goes.
I'm not sure all that line of thought serves you and me very well.
That's because, Cowpoke, you are a man of profoundly limited intelligence.
No doubt.
Well,
He then calls on Mr. Pearson, who shares a tale about Colm O'Driscoll, Dutch's longtime rival and sworn enemy.
I met a couple of the O'Driscoll boys on the road into town, and things were about to get ugly. But you know how I am in a fight, huh?
Pearson recalls Colm O'Driscoll's history of ambushes and betrayals, emphasizing that the O'Driscolls are not to be trusted. Yet, despite this blood-soaked past, Micah claims that Colm has extended an olive branch, offering peace talks with Dutch. The idea seems absurd after years of violence, but Micah insists it could finally end the feud.
but don't fight wars ain't worth fighting.
They want a parley? It's a trap.
Well, of course, it's probably a trap, but what do we got to lose finding out?
Get shot.
Arthur, ever skeptical, questions Colm O'Driscoll's motives, but Dutch appears intrigued. With the gangs under pressure from the law and rivals, he sees an opportunity. Micah keeps pushing, framing the meeting as a calculated risk rather than a reckless gamble. Reluctantly, Arthur agrees to go along. Whether this is a truly peace offering or an elaborate trap remains to be seen.
Then he killed a woman I loved dear.
As you say.
Micah claims the O'Driscolls want to parley to settle things like gentlemen. The idea seems laughable, but he presses on, insisting it could be a chance to end the bloodshed. Dutch, thought hesitant, eventually relents and decides to meet with them, bringing Arthur and Micah along.
Tigers, my friend.
Mount up and ride out with Dutch and Micah.
Just nervous. Let's not waste any more lives needlessly.
I ain't costing lives here.
As you travel, they discuss the likelihood that this is nothing more than O'Driscoll ploy. Yet, that's precisely why Arthur is coming along. Caution is key. As you near the meeting spot, Dutch and Micah tell Arthur to break off and find a vantage point. If things go south, he will be watching. The meeting spot is marked on your map. Follow the yellow trail on your mini-map, riding through the rock terrain as the tension builds. Both Dutch and Micah may talk of peace, but Arthur knows better than to trust the Driscolls. As you reach higher ground, a clear vantage point comes into view. From here, you can oversee the open plain where Dutch and Micah will soon face Colm's men. The setting is eerily quiet, with only the wind rustling through the trees. Once you arrive, dismount your horse and walk cautiously to the edge. The moment Arthur gets into position, the scene takes over. What happens next is out of your hands.
Hello, Dutch. It's been a while.
Sure.
So, how's your gang doing? They still believing in you? Better world. Pure world. How's that coming along?
Just fine.
How's that score you stole off us?
Which one?
Oh, I like that. It's like I said, this is a charismatic leader. Lot of heat on us this time. Both of us. Whole heap of trouble. They offered me a price, Dutch, to bring you in.
Why didn't you take it?
Well, still might.
I am...
As Dutch and Colm begin their tense conversation, Arthur keeps his rifle aimed squarely at Colm's head. ready for the slightest sign of trouble. The two gang leaders exchange words. Colm, ever the smooth talker, tries to sell the idea of peace, while Dutch remains wary, knowing their long history of betrayal. Before any agreement can be reached, Arthur's instincts flare. Something feels off, but before he can react, a shadow moves behind him. In an instant, a rifle's hilt slams into the back of his head, and everything fades to black. When Arthur comes to, his vision is blurry, and his body feels heavy. He is bound, restrained, and surrounded by unfamiliar faces. Despite his disorientation, he knows one thing for certain. He is in O'Driscoll hands. Struggling against his bindings, he attempts to escape.
Whole lot of them. With this fella Colm's right, we can draw them all back. He's escaping, shoot him! Quick!
But no matter which way he moves, the O'Driscolls are always one step ahead. They catch him with ease, and as punishment for his defense, another brutal strike leaves him even worse. Arthur drifts in and out of consciousness, his mind clouded by pain and exhaustion. Each time he briefly comes to, he catches fragment glimpses of his situation. His body slumped over a horse, the sound of rushing water nearby, rough hands dragging him somewhere unknown. His captors handle him like cargo, indifferent to his suffering.
Finally! Put his weapons over there!
When he finally regains full awareness, he finds himself in a dimly lit, cramped room. The world is upside down, literally. Before he can fully grasp his predicament, footsteps approach. The door creaks open, and in walks Colm O'Driscoll, wearing his signature smug grin. He takes his time, circling Arthur like a predator savoring its victory. With cruel amusement, he mocks Arthur's predicament, taunting him about Ditch's failure, about how this is so-called peace talk was never meant to be anything but a trap. Colm leans in close, his voice dripping with malice. Dutch will hang himself soon enough. He sneers before turning and walking away, leaving Arthur to suffer in silence. When Arthur regains consciousness again, the pounding in his head is relentless, but this time he noticed something. He can move. Thoughts still hanging upside down, the shackles around his ankles have just enough slack to let him swing. Time it right, and Arthur will gain enough force to reach for the small file resting on a nearby table. When the moment is the right, press X to grab it. Once Arthur has the file in his grasp, he can begin working on freeing himself. Staggering to his feet, Arthur spots a flickering candle nearby. He grabs a piece of metal, likely a tool left behind, and holds it over the open flame. There is no time to hesitate. Arthur presses it directly against his wound. Wiggle the left stick back and forth to work the tool deeper, burning away the infection. At the same time, alternate the right stick between far right and far left to ensure the entire wound is cauterized. He stumbles to a nearby table, grabbing a small pouch of gunpowder. There is no time to think. He grits his teeth and pours it directly onto the open wound. With a shaky hand, he strikes a match and brings it to his side. In an instant, fire erupts from the wound, sealing it shut with an intense, searing pain that sends Arthur into a fit of agony. His cry of pain echoes through the cabin, and before he can recover, he hears hurried footsteps outside. One of Colm's guards bursts through the door, alerted by the noise. Arthur barely has time to react before the game automatically positions him against the wall. As the guard steps forward, Arthur passes circle, grabbing the man and swiftly silencing him with a brutal stealth. There is no time to waste. Run like your life depends on it. The game prompts you to steal a horse, but instead, we ignored it and sprinted southeast through the snowy forest. Just when it seems like Arthur might not making it, a cutscene triggers. His loyal horse appears galloping towards him. Despite his battered state, Arthur pulls himself into the saddle, ready to escape this O'Driscoll's nightmare. once and for all. Arthur barely clings to consciousness as his loyal horse carries him home, the freezing air biting at his skin. Every movement sends fresh waves of pain through his body, but he holds on, driven by sheer will. As they reach camp, Arthur tries to dismount, but his body betrays him. He stumbles, his vision swimming, and collapses to the ground.
Arthur! Arthur?
Arthur. I told you it was a setup, Dutch. My boy, my dear boy, what? They got me. I got away. Yeah, you did. Miss Grimshaw, I need help. Reverend Swanson. He's gonna set the law on us. Oh, of course he was.
I'm sorry, Arthur.
It is a bit late for apologies. Swanson! Mr. Morgan, you're safe now.
Oh, let's get him to bed.
You are safe now, Arthur.
But Arthur is too weak to question it. His body finally gives in and he collapses into much needed rest, the horrors of his captivity fading into darkness. A few weeks pass and Arthur slowly recovers from his brutal ordeal. Though the wounds have healed, the experience lingers, a painful reminder of just how the ruthless Colm O'Driscoll truly is. With time, Arthur gets back on his feet, ready to return to gang's usual business. The game now leads into the next mission, Friends in Very Low Places, where Arthur must navigate the dangerous world of underground connections and shady deals. And trust me, the next mission is full of surprises. You won't want to miss it. Like, share and subscribe to stay updated on every mission breakdown. And don't forget to turn on the bell icon so you never miss an update. See you in the next one.